A man getting bit by an alligator and he screams.
Okay, quiet.
Stood out towards me.
Ow! No, not an owl. A real scream of pain.
Yeah, it looks like Driving and Screaming is going to be a little bit longer tonight.
Well, that's good because day 4 felt. I don't know that it felt longer than others, but
it
was an eventful day.
It was. We spoke with the Happy as Larry folks,
who were in fact happy as Larry.
And we'll explain what that means. I guess we talked about that. We didn't talk about it last night because I didn't really know what it meant until I looked it up today.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I say that because I looked it up earlier.
Okay.
Not that I just knew. Like, oh, you didn't know what happy as Larry meant?
You don't know all the colloquial phrases from all the different regions around the world that mean a thing?
Yeah. It's like when I'm like, you didn't know that?
My book of idioms that I just have at the ready that I study and memorize.
Well, you never know. You never know when you're going to need to pull out like a good idiom. Right?
It's true. It was funny though that when I mentioned it, he was like, "Yeah, I guess I know that now."
Yeah,
I was like, "Hey, happy as Larry is not a popular phrase here, not even a known phrase."
It's not even right.
He's like, "Yeah, I'm just now figuring that out," and I'm like, "Oh, well, shit." I'm like, "Let me twist the knife and
I know.
a little bit more."
Like, yeah, thanks, thanks, person. But I mean, at least the character's name was Larry.
Right.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, so it kind of like works even if you don't know. You sort of understand like the ironic meaning behind it, right?
Right.
Because he's not really happy.
Right.
I mean, as we talked about.
Do you think, let me ask you this, because I asked the question of like, I do think that the metaphor of the one last fight being the payoff, right, that kind of, do you think that was like intentional, or do you think that was just using the phrase? Do you think that was the intent of like, of the film, of like, because the last fight is the one that is paying you, is the one that where you are, the whole story of the Happy as Larry, right, is that the boxer, you're looking at me like I'm not in a,
No, so maybe I don't know the story, but so
okay.
You're talking about like, so all I know about the like phrase Happy as Larry just is like analogous to Happy as a Clam, right? But I don't know the story behind it.
So there's a story about a boxer who went undefeated his entire career in the 80s, and then but he never got paid, and then the last fight he got paid £1,000, and that's where he's happy as Larry, because that was his last fight that he won paid off.
Okay.
Maybe they don't know the story either, and it's just a phrase, and
that would be my guess.
Okay.
Yeah,
I still think it really works,
and
though,
I was
right?
just kind of like,
oh great.
No, okay, so no. So, but this is interesting. So, then in the film, how does the metaphor? Where is that last fight?
Well, I think
at the cliff.
Yeah, I think the last fight that he has is the one that like reaffirms his meaning, or the reason to continue living, right? And all the ones that have led up to this point have kind of left him empty.
So you're gonna fucking stop? Sorry, this is Driving While Screaming.
Yeah, just keep going straight.
Go straight?
Yeah.
All right. This is Driving While Screaming, so you do get sort of live traffic reports. Look, I'm not an angry driver.
It's shitty downtown, folks.
Not really, but also, I don't take any shit.
If you can find an alternate route out of, but yeah, just keep going straight. You're going to follow this around and go to Stemmons.
Okay.
So we talked to the Happy as Larry folks, and then we saw 3 movies today. We saw something. Well, we saw Andre's an Idiot, which is a documentary. We saw All That We Love, which is not a documentary. And then we saw a movie called Toxic, which is a foreign film by a female director.
Did you happen to catch what country that was from?
I did not.
Okay.
I think Lithuania.
Okay.
Because if I remember correctly, there was a line item or a screen.
Oh no, you're right. You're right.
That is a Lithuanian film production.
Yeah.
Or like it got funded through Lithuanian film dollars.
Yes.
So, if I am guessing,
I
it's
believe
somewhere near Lithuania, if not in Lithuania itself.
I saw that too. Now that you mention it.
So Andre is an Idiot was a nominee for like something at is it at Cannes or was it at Sundance? Oh no, it was at Sundance. It was up for the best documentary award. Like I think it won something. Like it's done really well. It is about this man who has colon cancer. Or finds out he has colon cancer stage 4 is when he first finds out, and then it's his kind of documenting the last days.
I'm turning here, all right?
Yes, just like you did. Well, they're not going to let you though, probably. So you're going to have to go straight and we'll figure it out.
Okay.
So I'll tell you where to go.
Great.
Just keep going down here for a bit because I think we would want you to turn around, and they're probably still not going to let you get on the highway right there. So let's let this reroute us for a while.
Gotcha.
And so, yeah, it's a 83-minute documentary about a man who is documenting the last days of his life and kind of the way that he is dealing with his disease,
impending doom,
right? And it's really funny and heartwarming and touching, and I always feel like there's a little bit of a false narrative when I'm watching documentaries. And specifically this one, it felt like it was, I mean, I don't know. I think maybe I'm a little harsh on it. But it feels like this story is a little too, I don't know, self-contained. I don't know. What are your thoughts on it?
Well,
I guess?
That's what I think. So I'm always, I think, wary of films like these because of that, because it feels a little manufactured. And I mean, I understand, I guess that's kind of the point.
Right.
But there's a false sentimentality to it. There's a false kind of sense. It can come off as, and I don't know that this one did that, but they can come off as kind of cloying.
Right.
I think, and I think maybe towards the end, this documentary did kind of fall into those trappings.
Yeah. I mean, I think the main, the main character, the main person is a real person. He's a real man. But
whose name is Andre?
Whose name is Andre. Is an interesting person just in general, right? I mean, I think his story is interesting. It's unfortunate that obviously we don't hear about him until he's passing away. And so yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm not sure what I'm supposed to take away from this other than go get a colonoscopy as early as you can.
Yeah. I mean, is a film like this supposed to be life affirming?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, yeah, you have to ask yourself. I mean, like, so obviously he has the means in which to produce and to construct a good-looking documentary.
Yeah, I was going to say,
right?
I do think it's...
this is... And here's the other part, I guess, with this type of documentary and this slice of life documentary is you're going to turn right up here, is that... Watch out for this, dude.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, like I said, it's so slick, right? That it kind of undermines its central conceit of like we're gonna like really have a in-depth view of this person's.
I'm going this way.
Yes, yeah. This person's life.
I guess I should fucking stop at red light. Sorry.
So I enjoyed it. I thought it was funny, but again, I'm always sitting there questioning the narrative and how true it really is. And like, yeah, I don't know. Like, it seems like
how much are we being fooled and tricked into this?
Right. How much is manufactured, especially in this day of unscripted, scripted television, right?
Right.
And again, I don't ever want to question anyone's pain, but if you put it on camera, then I almost have to, right?
You're inviting that kind of probing, right? You're inviting that kind of kind of questioning.
So as we're sitting down with a multi-camera setup to tell our story here, and at certain points where it seems like again, a lot of this is a lot of this is staged.
Yeah.
I just feel a little manipulated in a way. And if it wasn't like, if he wasn't so magnetic and so funny, and just kind of charismatic, right? I mean, I think
he really is.
I think this would never see the light of day, and it just happens to be that the builds on this guy's personality that.
Yeah, that's what makes it work.
Right.
Is it if this were just because this is a common story, and I don't mean like.
Sure.
It's a common story about men, about us not getting checkups when we need to, and then something bad happening, right? Or not finding cancer in time to treat it effectively. So it's a common story, and you have to think that this happens quite a bit, but they don't all make a documentary.
Right.
But because,
or especially one like that looks like this, right?
Right. But this guy, right, because of his personality and because of how like big he is.
And there's no real philosophy to any of this, right? I mean, there's no real like revelation about life. Like you say, like, is this life affirming? I guess in a sense, but not really though, right? It's just a story of an interesting guy. Which at the end of the day, that's fine for a documentary. I just feel like you wrap it around this kind of ultra serious moment. Like this, I mean, it kind of feels like, I don't know, like you look at these other like documentaries kind of like in the same vein of like, let's say Grizzly Man, right? I mean, which was staged to an extent, but like also it was this one guy, filming himself and doing all these things. I don't know. I like I said, I think its production value hurts it in this case in a really kind of weird way.
Right.
And I think most people won't give a shit. Like I don't think if you're an average film goer, you're probably, and that sounds like assholery, I get it. But if you're just a person who just likes movies, I don't think that's going to bother you at all. You're probably not watching documentaries in the first place. But
no, you're right.
But I just feel like, in 2025, when we've seen so much that has been purported to be real life, this doesn't look like it's real life because it's so slick.
Yeah, and because there are obvious cameras everywhere, and it's obvious that they are sort of at times playing to the camera. Is that fair?
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, I don't want to be unfair again, like to people going through this kind of pain and grief, but it does have that feel to it.
I mean,
it does but then there's the question of like how much of any of these documentaries are rooted in truth or aren't staged and manipulated to a certain extent.
Right.
That's probably a different conversation.
But, take the scene where they are driving the RV, right? And they're just going to go and they're going on a buddy trip where they're going to drive to see nothing, and they go to that lake.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's drone shots.
Yeah.
There are second car shots. There are, they had to drive across that lake like 6 or 7 times just to get that shot. And then when they get out, there's staged cameras where he's lying on the ground looking up at the sky, and I'm just
how well lit is this thing?
Right.
And every scene,
all of it. I'm just like, ugh.
Yeah.
Like this. I mean, like, look, if you wanted to make a movie about this guy, then just make do that.
Make a meta commentary movie.
Right.
Because they also had like almost everything had we had the take number on the slate boards.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Which felt a little weird.
Yeah, and then the end shot where he's like walking off of the cliff essentially and then disappearing. Like, how fucking manufactured is that?
Right.
Like, I get, and look, whatever. But you put your life out there like this, and the end of your life like this.
Yeah.
Like,
you have to be willing to have it questioned like that, right? To have that.
Right.
No, I mean, but you do. I mean, once you do that, once you put it out there, you can't then say, oh, well, you can't say that because. Yeah. It's like, yes, death sucks and cancer sucks. That's not, no one's saying that, right? But,
yeah, I think I don't know. I laughed, and I had a decent time with it.
I had a good time
watching this guy die.
Right.
And it gets to be harrowing. I mean, like, it
waste away on camera.
Right. But that's the other thing too, is there's no real moments in the film, right? I mean, like, there's no that.
Is it too jokey?
I don't know if it's too jokey.
And what I mean, like, I don't mean that it can't be humorous, but like, is it just too much of that, like all the time?
I don't.
Like, for example.
Yeah, I mean, there had to have been some point, right, where everyone was just like, stop it, stop being that fucking guy, right? Stop, like, just live in the moment for a minute. Like, let's be serious. There was never any sort of conflict, like that you would expect in this sense, right? There was never any sort of like breakdown. There's never any sort of thing that really evoked any emotion out of you. And it's weird that then this topic is presented without this like, hey, yeah, we can't, because you can't, like, this whole idea that you can approach everything as a joke is going to backfire on you at some point. At some point, you're going to lose that thread. Or someone in your life is going to lose that thread.
Right.
And so, I don't know. Yeah, it just feels like, yeah, you're right. I mean, they treat this weirdly, way too lightly, and we're supposed to just be enamored with this family and this bravery and this alternative take on how to handle this, this kind of happenstance in your life.
Right. And I was thinking specifically too of the Tommy Chong moment.
Right.
I don't know, that it seemed a little out of place.
Yeah.
We're gonna have someone play his father.
Well, and that's the other thing, like, yeah, okay.
And clearly it was for a laugh, right? It was for a joke.
Right. And also, like, if your dad doesn't want to be in this fucking movie about you dying, then just fucking honor that shit. Like, you don't have to bring this up. You don't have to include it in the film.
The dad doesn't come up until near the end of the film anyway.
Right. And it's just, oh yeah, he didn't want to be in it. Right. So it seems like you're padding time at this, with a lot of it as well.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, again, every phone call is staged. Every reaction is going to be staged. And like you said, with the clappers in there, then you're just like, oh, okay. Well, clearly you're telling me that this is all staged.
Right. I mean, you're starting to then beg that question.
Right.
You're saying, dig into this.
But I will say, if you stumble across this, you'll probably enjoy it.
Yeah.
Like the guy is charismatic. His story is interesting. Especially the early parts. I found that, that's the love story is probably the most interesting part of this guy's story. And then of course the advertising agency stuff and like what he was good at and like what the work that we did that we would be familiar with. We just didn't know it was him that was doing it.
Yeah.
Some really cool things, but yeah, I mean, like I said, I don't mind that we watched it, obviously, but I just was like, it was an ick level factor that I didn't really enjoy.
Yeah, there was, right. It just felt a little false at moments, at times.
And then after that movie was over, we went and got tortas, and
they were delicious.
They were amazing.
They were really, really good.
And then we came back to the Texas Theater and we watched All That We Love, which is about a woman who has just lost her dog, is losing her daughter, and has an alcoholic ex-husband come back into her life.
Now, you need to explain how she's losing her daughter.
Oh,
and
daughter,
that her ex-husband is in recovery.
Her ex-husband is in recovery.
Because you just made that sound a lot worse than it really is.
And her daughter
lost her dog, lost her daughter.
That's true. Her daughter is going off to Australia. She's going to be halfway around the world because she's fallen in love with a guy. And so she's at all these like weird crossroads in her life where she's also it seems like an unfulfilling job that's kind of been.
But she also seems like she's in charge.
Right. She's doing well in like corporate life, but she's also, she's kind of spiraling a bit.
Yes.
Because all these things are kind of conspiring against her and happening to her. Margaret Cho's our lead. This is filled with people you would recognize
Ferguson
from Modern Families, and there's the kid from
and from the what was the like high school reunion show that was on for all of like one season that he was in?
I don't recall.
With was Lizzie Kaplan in it?
Probably. That sounds about right.
Yeah.
I don't know, but I don't know the name of it. I did not watch it. And And
It was,
I should have,
before
but-
Modern Family.
Okay.
Because I mean that's where I first saw Jesse Tyler Ferguson. I mean, look, I act like I watched it. I think I watched like 2 episodes.
Well, you were evidently you were obviously a huge fan of it.
Actually, I will watch anything with Lizzie Kaplan.
It almost had Lizzie Kaplan in it, so I mean.
I love Lizzie Kaplan.
Oh, of course I do too. Yeah,
she's great. She was in a short with, I think it was T.J. Miller, called Successful Alcoholics.
Called Cloverfield.
Yes, called Cloverfield. Yeah, that short. And there's a scene where she drinks like a bottle of Listerine to stop the shakes.
Oh,
but it's like really.
Oh, yeah, I heard of this.
It's tough. Like it's really tough.
Interesting.
So, but see, I'll watch anything with Lizzie Kaplan in it. I'm just saying.
And even shorts about drinking Listerine.
Look, that's what the old timers used to do.
Right. Yeah. No,
None of this like winter mint shit.
Right. No, the old school medicine tasting Listerine. what real Americans freshen their breath with.
And stop the DTs.
Right. If you drink enough of it, you can get drunk on it.
Yeah, right. But just enough to stop the tremors.
So how did you feel about this one?
I thought it was fine.
Yeah.
I mean, I think, look, I am admittedly not really the audience for these kinds of films. I mean, I think this was a well-made film. I think it was a well-acted film. But the storyline, the kind of heartfeltness of it all doesn't really resonate for me, right?
Yeah.
It's not a Hallmark movie, right? I mean, it's much better than that, but it's just a little too family friendly.
Right. Yeah. This it feels like Sideways to me. Like, I mean, but with actually a little less at stake than Sideways has, right?
Well, that's the thing. There isn't really. I mean, yes, there is stuff. There are things at stake. The daughter moving is not an insignificant thing. She's moving far away, and clearly there is a reliance and an attachment, especially for Margaret Cho's character, since the father and ex-husband left their lives, right? There's clearly a bond there that she does not want to separate. So there's that, and then yes, there's the chance that the ex-husband coming back into their lives will relapse or something bad will happen, but
that he doesn't deserve to be there, right?
Yeah.
That's the other thing too, is that he abandoned them at some point, and they're both part of their pain, and a lot of their lingering pain is based on that. I think in these movies like that deal with this type of loss and trauma, I feel like this one treats it, like you said, with kid gloves.
Yeah. And
it's fine. I think I kind of feel the same way I feel about Andre's an Idiot. I think it's funny in some places. I don't really I think Jesse Tyler Ferguson is going to have a really, really hard time not being the guy from Modern Family.
Yeah, Mitchell.
Mitchell, and so this felt like a good episode of some sort of 30-something type show, right?
Yeah, really, right.
And like I said, it's proficient. It's perfectly fine, and it will resonate with people. I think that I think it'll do really well. It's just not my type of film. And it's like I said, I didn't not enjoy it. I mean, and I enjoyed hearing the director talk about it afterwards. But I don't think I'll ever come back to this.
No.
And because there's no real need to, right? There's no I'm not going to take anything additionally away from this story. And if I were to make this movie, I would have focused on a little bit more of the the fringe characters, like his sister doing the mukbang videos.
Yes,
and the gay.
Was she the most interesting character in the film?
And the gay throuple, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, and so I think that you put all these things on the fringes of your movie, but you don't do anything with them.
Yeah, they didn't really serve any.
Right, and you really, it's like you're. I don't. It's one of those things where like you give me a glimpse of something that's like really sparkly and shiny, and then you take it away from me,
Right.
and I'm like, oh wait, but I still wanted to see that thing. Like, make them be a more integral part to this story.
Make it more significant. Make it actually lead to the main character's development.
Right. Okay. And I want to say this: can we call a moratorium on karaoke in movies?
I hate it.
It's the.
I mean, I hate karaoke. Period.
But it's the worst because
It's so dumb.
it's just filler, and it's.
Oh no! Wait a minute. Okay, wait. What about the karaoke scene in Five Devils?
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I guess even Lost in Translations was what would serve the point, right? I mean, like,
Right.
but I think people see those.
But yeah, that was just filler. I mean, this movie.
And they see those and they're like, oh, I want to do that thing. I want to like have that moment where my character can kind of just belt a song and like, and we see kind of underneath who they are, and you know, either they're good at it and they're reluctant, or they're like boisterous and kind of shitty. Like, it's just. It was also the really bizarre song choices, like for Jesse Tyler Ferguson to sing and Margaret Cho. It's like almost like they couldn't get the rights to the songs to like that they wanted to sing, so they sang these other ones.
I thought they were going to do Barracuda.
Yeah, it's just like there's just. But I think this movie just moves through its paces too easily.
Yeah.
And I don't like the trauma. If you wanted to reach someone, it's I don't know. I think this I don't know how you connect with a film like this, and that could be a failing on my part more than it is the film's part.
Because we're assholes.
But like, I felt like, okay, yeah, good. I mean, like I said, it was a movie that we saw.
Right. And it's not the worst movie.
No.
That we're gonna see, right? Or that we have seen. But yeah, it just doesn't. Well, we don't get enough, I think, of how bad the ex-husband was.
Right. It never. It's
because it doesn't. I mean, we just know that they are so pissed at this guy, and it's like, okay, I get he was an alcoholic, but like what else? Like what? Like.
Right.
He left.
This movie.
I understand that's terrible. That's not what I mean. But
right, sure. But this one movie wants everyone to be likable, because when he comes back, he's handsome and he's kind of humbled.
Right.
And
he's going through the steps. And he's like working through the steps in kind of the right way. I don't know.
It's and like there's really no like. At no point is there ever, not that you necessarily need this. Like, I mean, it's like, there's no conflict, right? There's no like real build up to conflict. There's no like confrontation. And I keep like, I never can pronounce Nicole's last name correctly, but you hurt my feelings and not walking and talking. Is that the walking and talking? Hoffensettler?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Everyone knows who you mean.
Right. Yes. Wyatt Stallfart. Nicole Hoffensettler. Nicole Horvath. She makes wonderful films that are kind of humanistic and like usually either have Catherine Keener in or Julia Louis-Dreyfus in them.
Yes.
And that to me is that's what this film seemed like it was trying to do.
Yeah. But there's always that awkward thing in her films, right?
That's what I'm saying. Is that and it needed
the
that.
level of that kind of conflict, and there was nothing.
Right, Margaret Cho, I think it dabbled, right? Margaret Cho needed to be a little bit more unhinged, and we got to the point where okay, she's drinking one night and she doesn't know how to do gifts correctly. Or embarrassing her daughter and like calling out her future son-in-law.
Did you see that
Christ.
guy?
Yes. Holy God. And
there's a ghost on the highway.
We just saw a literal ghost. I lost my point. But
I'm pretty sure that was the cuckoo monster from last year.
Yes,
last year's DIFF. Yeah.
So, but yeah, you don't. But she comes back around so easily. Yeah,
everyone does.
Right. She comes back. She gets back with her ex-husband for a minute, and then realizes that. I mean, like, I don't know. It's just like, oh, here's a piece of conflict that we're kind of gonna glance at, and then we're gonna completely steer away from it. and resolve it within a matter of seconds, and it'll all be fine, and then we'll just go on to the next thing. It just feels like this film doesn't really want to tackle anything. Even the dog, even the dog that that she gets afterwards, and then gives right back to like Missy Pyle has no reason to be in this movie.
Right.
Like, I mean, like, it's fine.
Completely underused.
But like, yeah, there's no reason for her to be there, other than to be kind of a poking stick for a Christian character, which again doesn't need to be there. And again, I'm not a fucking Christian, but I don't understand. Like,
that had nothing to do with her character.
Why are we stabbing this fucking person because she happens to be a churchgoer?
Right.
Like, I don't understand that. Okay, the joke is funny. Like when Margaret Cho's like, "Oh, I thought you were like you're wanting to quit this job because you want to go work with your church." Oh, I thought you were joking.
I thought you were kidding.
That's funny because that's back on Margaret Cho, right?
Sure. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. But it doesn't do any. Again, like it's another thing that doesn't do anything in the story. And
it's such a weird. I go back to like Heretic again, but it's such a weird conceit to like. There's plenty of reasons to throw these people under the bus, but if you don't have any of them, then like stop.
I know, right?
Like stop making it a character trait of these people, and also like, stop punching weirdly down. And again, why am I defending religious institutions? I'm defending religious people in this case. Like, it's just a weird dig that doesn't need to be there, and it detracts from your film.
Right, because she's nothing but good in this movie.
Right. Yeah.
She never brings up the Christian thing again.
Right. So why would you ever mention it?
Why make a joke out of it? Why have it as a punchline?
Why couldn't you just say something like, "Oh, I want to quit because I find meaning in fostering dogs"? And
I know, because that's what she does.
Right. And that could be, "Oh, I thought you were kidding about that." Like anything that she said, moving out of her corporate job is going to be ludicrous to the person who's her boss, right?
Yeah.
And so like,
and anything she says, the joke is going to work.
Right.
Oh, I thought that was a joke. Yeah.
But no, now you got to make a joke and alienate people. That you don't need to do that.
Yeah.
You just don't need to do that.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it's weird, and like just be better in that sense. It's just a cheap joke that like.
Did you just quote Melania Trump?
I did. Yeah, I do. Look, I mean, I get up every morning and I listen to her speeches, and I'm just like, that lady.
And then you go, I don't really care.
Right. Do I really care? No. And then I stare blankly at a camera, and I refuse to hold my partner's hand.
And constantly question my choices in life.
So again,
which
yes, of course, I do that. That's an hourly thing.
That's
Why am I doing this thing?
Oh my god.
Should I be doing something else? The answer to that question is absolutely yes.
Always yes.
So, yeah, just like Andre's an idiot. All that we love, if you happen to see it, it's on Amazon or Netflix, or you can go to I'm sure this will get released. I'm sure this will have some sort of distribution.
It's got it. Yeah, I think so.
Go see it.
Yeah,
I encourage you to go see it. I think you'll find something. You may find something in it that we didn't.
I'm sure they will, because they're not assholes.
Right, and they can find pleasure in things.
What's that like? I wonder.
I'm not sure.
I wonder what's that.
I've stopped trying, so it's fine. It's fine.
In fact, that is where.
Right. Well, here's the thing: I think we find pleasure in not finding pleasure.
Yes.
Stuff,
Oh,
right?
absolutely.
Right? Yeah.
Absolutely.
We find pleasure in the displeasure of things. And that brings us to our last film of the day. Looks like this exit's actually open today.
That's great.
Which
if you were listening last night, you got to hear us like go around in circles for a minute.
A Lithuanian film, so we think.
That's what we're calling it. But not a Lithuanian film like a Serbian film.
No. Although, not too terribly far off.
No, like it definitely was teetering in that direction.
So a Lithuanian Harmony Korine film called Toxic, which is about this group of girls who are kind of aimless, but also kind of they start to take part in this modeling agency, and they all do just different things to, one, make money, and two, to conform to these unrealistic beauty standards. Like I said, this is like 13 meets Harmony Korine, right?
Yeah.
I mean, like and it's really uncomfortable and it's really slow in places. I think the girls are really good.
I do too.
This would be a really depressing double feature with Lady World.
Yeah. So I mean, it kind of reminds me of like that, or like that kind of Amanda Kramer film, but in a different language.
I think I don't know. I think you like this more than I did.
Yeah.
I need to go back and revisit it because I'll be 100% transparent. I was tired. I fell asleep during one slow part and then nearly knocked my cup off, which I happened to do that last year as well. It scared the shit out of myself. It's like my cup and ice rattles all over the place. And it was subtitled and it was quiet and there were moments of like like pure oddity. Like there's characters in this. There's moments of like weird dancing and then like just kind of still shots on unconventional people.
Yep.
And
this is why I like it. This is why I like the film.
I think I definitely will revisit it when I have a little bit more staying power. I mean, I didn't dislike it. I was like, I kept thinking that like, okay, something is like, there's going to be some sort of something, right?
Yeah.
And that's that's the Harmony Korine portion of this, is that there's really not,
right?
Like there's never really any sort of payoff or there's never really any true real horror outside of the horror that we're all watching that are happening to these girls, right? I mean, like, and
right.
And what they're going through,
and what it could mean if they actually get a job through this modeling agency,
right?
Because nothing is explicit, but there are things that I feel like are implied in terms of kind of like sex trafficking. Did you get that vibe?
Yeah. Especially because all of the men are trying to sleep with really, really young women in this movie. Like, I mean, they're older, I guess either in their 20s or...
but these girls are like 13.
But they're 13 and 14. It's they're all like, one of them gets a tapeworm egg off of or tapeworm capsule off of the dark web, which is now the second movie we watched. All of these movies have really, really weird, reoccurring themes to them.
Yeah, it's
VHS tapes, tapeworms, cleaning fish.
So it's just the tape thing.
It's just tape. Tape and entrails are a reoccurring theme in these films. And so, this is a film that if you're not a fan of like Harmony Korine or
even slow cinema,
right? And you're not a Lithuanian completist, I'm not sure that this is going to be for you.
But here's what I will say. I will say that there are moments of real beauty in the cinematography, in the framing, and that I also find really interesting that we are in this kind of dilapidated village, really,
right?
In Eastern Europe somewhere. We keep thinking is Lithuania, and how the director makes this look, or how kind of it's like its own fucking planet, right? I think that's really interesting, and again, I mean, weirdly beautiful with these burnout cars.
Yeah, and this kind of has a "You Won't Be Alone" feel to it as well. I do think this is kind of an interesting, like, alternative take on folk horror, where we've set it in like in a decaying setting rather than having some sort of
tree nymphs,
right? But there's a lot of really interesting visuals. There's like some gallows humor here and there. But it's not an easy watch, and it's not an easy watch on a
10 o'clock on a
Monday.
No.
Yeah. So
no, it's not. But yeah, I think this one's worth your time, in more of a way than Andre and All That We Love are, actually.
Yeah.
I think it's a much more challenging film.
Oh, 100%.
And so I would encourage people to not be little wimps.
Just go see it, for God's sake. If you see one movie where a girl swallows a tapeworm this year, you might have to actually see two movies that where you swallow a tapeworm.
I think you have to watch both. I think if you're into like tapeworm cinema, that there are
It
a
is
couple.
a big, like, who knew that 2025 would be the year of the tapeworm?
Yeah. I mean, niche cinema.
I did
as
find it
is.
really funny that the tapeworm the tapeworm had like actual packaging.
And it was in like its own little
Right.
like capsule. And it almost looked like there was like a picture of a saint or something on the packaging.
I also
That was great.
And this is just a me thing, but I also find it very interesting in foreign films when the web pages that they go to are translated into the countries that they're showing these films in. So I'm assuming that like the tapeworm egg page is going to be different wherever you might
If you
see
see it
this film.
somewhere else, yeah. Because she's probably not searching in English.
Right, yeah. Just a little nugget there.
Yeah, but
I do
just
find
like the tapeworm.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. A lot of Mean Girl shit in this movie.
Right.
There's just a lot of like ugliness and like.
Right.
And,
but I also think that's true to form.
Oh,
isn't
sure.
It? I mean,
absolutely. Yeah.
But I mean, because our main character has a limp. It looks like she, I don't know, was born with something in her hip, right? That maybe doesn't allow her to walk like
She has
everyone
a
else. And
hitch.
it's just a little hitch in her giddy up,
Right.
right? Yes. And everyone just gives her shit for it. Like every time she's around, like even her mother, who like we never see, which I thought was an interesting choice. We only hear her voice, like her disembodied voice. But I mean, she does make friends.
Yeah.
And I like how this film ends, right? With those two or that small group of friends seemingly kind of detaching themselves from the rest of that toxic group with the modeling school. So,
all right. Well, that was
spoilers.
That was day 4, folks. Really 3 more days to go, but we won't be covering the 6th day.
Right.
On the 6th day, we will
screened
rest.
Mike Lee.
Well, yes. That's right.
There's no rest. Jesus.
Yeah, so we're going to screen Mike Lee. So
if
if you're in the Fort Worth area, you can come see Secrets and Lies with us, and we can scream after the movie is over.
Yeah. Which is typical. Anyway.
Right.
It won't be recorded.
Right.
It would just be like into the ether.
But Brock needs to get home, and I need to go to bed.
Yeah. So we'll talk to you tomorrow. Thanks for listening.
And keep screaming.
You have been listening to Why Does the Wilhelm Scream with your hosts, Brock and Jason. If you liked today's episode, do us a favor and rate, review, and subscribe in whatever application you use to consume podcasts these days. You can reach us by visiting whydoesthewilhelmscream.com. If you are in the DFW area, we would love to see you at a Fort Worth Film Club event. You can learn more about those and find a full schedule at fortworthfilmclub.com. And you can learn about my foundation and how we are trying to foster the next generation of film lovers at realhousefoundation.org. That's REEL housefoundation.org. Till next time,